I'm the Senior People Insights Consultant working with Jaguar Land Rover currently, and I'm currently based in United Kingdom, West Midlands though. So I have been into people analytics for more than 8 years now. I started my career with Soil, have done my MBA in PGPM, Human Resources Leadership Management course. And after that, I got placed with Gartner Research and Advisory as a HR Analytics Insight Specialist out there. So my entire career has been in the wavelength of people analytics domain. And I have worked across different cross-functional teams, different region, North America, EMEA, India as well, Asia Pacific regions as well. And in terms of HR analytics, I would say the career has been so nice and so given because when I kind of enrolled into analytics and data, domain, so it was kind of booming in that time. So I started it, I think, back in 2019 or 2020. So it was kind of getting started. Everything was so new, so fresh, and the people were into data analytics, getting the sense of how we need to manage the data lake warehouses, what are the so many, how to basically start and exploring the people analytics gamut when it especially comes to human domain. So it kinds of enrolled payroll, administration, getting into salary benchmarking, talent acquisition, talent management, performance reviews, and altogether different other areas that I have explored so far in my domain. So being in my past experiences when I was working with Gartner, I realized that data is so critical to the industry, be it from the business acumen or be it from the human resources acumen. And it kind of gives a fresh perspective to what you see from a different lenses when it comes to business solutions, understanding critical strategies for the business to adopt. And that's where it kind of interests me altogether. And having that experiences, I think I also transitioned with Expedia Group. I started working with Expedia Group as program manager, again in people analytics domain. In that role, I was taking care of all the talent acquisition and the talent management process. So when it says talent management, all the performance reviews that happens for the employee, how the performance reviews happen, what are the kind of quarterly conducts that you have to take place within the organization, how you kind of benchmark their performances, and understanding all of these key data matrices from the payroll perspective as well, how you kind of providing bonuses to employees, what are the different industry targets for giving the bonuses and the payroll. So I think in a nutshell, I would say from every aspect, data is crucial, and it kind of gives us a sense that how critical things should happen in a business. And when it comes to from human perspective, I know that human there is a need these days to understand human needs from a meaningful aspect, not just the numbers. So yeah, I think it would be a bittersweet of a sort of career where there were some challenges to get all of the things up and running, getting the system on board, setting up the people analytics team altogether for some firms, working with different employee set groups, ENPS scores, working on their performance satisfaction levels, understanding the KPIs. So yeah, it was good. And in my current role, I would say it is kind of more challenging because now I have a company where we have 44,000 more employees all over globally. So to have that, something of a target and understanding employee sentiments, looking at different various lenses, I think it comes as a overall exposure and what you kind of see in an industry that is relevant. So that's something in and all I would say was a bitter sort of my experience in terms of HR analytics, and that's where am I currently.
So, ma'am, what does a day in life of a senior people insight consultant look like?
Perfect. So a day in the senior people insight consultant role at Jaguar, something looks like with a lot of planning. So we kind of start our day where we kind of look at our calendars. What are the key meetings do we have in a particular day? How many stakeholders do we need to have a conversation with on a daily basis? And then kind of planning it all in a nutshell of what we are talking about in terms of our project, the capabilities, the resources allotment. And then we do have our team stand-ups on a daily basis. So we work at Jaguar Land Rover, we work in agile environment where, on a frequent basis, we kind of have a collaboration with our team members to understand what are the key priorities do they have on a daily basis. And if somebody from a new skills perspective or somebody from an industry knows about anything else they are kind of working on. So they kind of collaborated all together for the stakeholders. And different needs of the stakeholders are kind of studied and understand from a planning perspective. It's how you kind of work together in JLR. That's how my day gets started.
How do you use data to influence, workforce decisions at such a large global organization?
As I said, data is critical for every business. It's not just HR domain. It's entirely from the production, procurement, understanding of the motor vehicles, how many consumption they have on a daily basis, what are the key demands that we have in a particular region. I think data plays a very important role in every aspect these days, especially when we are kind of consuming it all from different various resources, and we are getting the data all at our back end, be it number of clicks, number of suppliers, number of KPIs do we have for each businesses. So data plays a very critical role. And I think at Jaguar's Land Rover specifically, we do have our data lake warehouse system, which kind of have a different kind of aspects altogether to the businesses, be it for HR, be it for finance, be it for, procurement, manufacturing, industrial operations. So we kind of work on the data sets on a back end with a BigQuery, applying some SQLs and run a Python code and provide the businesses, the teams, the dashboards that they need for their businesses to help it, run smoothly. We do have a collaboration meetings with the stakeholders where we understand what are the critical projects they are working on, what are the kind of different data segments that would make sense for their businesses. For example, I would say gender equality is something a big indicator at Jaguar, and they are kind of work with the diverse audience altogether. So they work with different employees, different kind of segmentation, and we do have a target in here for women 50% for each senior leadership level. That's where data becomes important, not just from the hiring perspective, from attrition perspective as well, for the kind of promotion and performance engagement, looking at diverse audiences, understanding their segments, sentiments as well. For example, we do understand that how from the COVID, if I take an example from the COVID aspect, when the COVID started hitting and everybody was working from home, we did understand some sentiments from women's side, that how do they feel better if they are kind of calling and working from office, what are the kind of different sentiments that need to put together from the women perspective. So that's where I think data plays a very important, the crucial role, just to understand different aspects of the businesses in a nutshell, as well as to understand what are the requirements that different teams has in each of the scenarios. So it always a kind of trade in position from the people analytics team, as well as being in a data senior as a data insight consultant, that you need to put yourself in the shoes of the businesses to have an understanding of what sort of data do they need for their planning, and how we can kind of accumulate in a way that is easier for them to interpret, easier for them to convey, easier for them to articulate their thoughts in the business as well, for the nutshell.
With AI and predictive modeling advancing so fast, how do you see the future of people analytics evolving in the next coming 5 years?
That's a very intriguing question. So I was in a conference the last week in London, and this question came up quite a bit of time with some of the senior stakeholders, where the people were interested in knowing about the AI impacts in the businesses altogether from the data analytics perspective, and how it should be replacing humans in future or not. And one of the thing that struck by me was this thing said by the Bolt people analytics leader. She said that be it anything in the world, nobody can replace human sentiments, be it a bot, be it any other thing, how many tech advance we are or we become in the future, nothing can replace the human sentiments. It's me and you who are getting to know and understand the empathy, sympathy, and the kind of different human emotions that these technologies cannot. Of course, AI is having a futuristic impact. It will create some of the technologies in a very streamlined way. It will reduce manual intervention of the work that we do nowadays with some of the businesses. But having said that, if it is used in a better way, it could be a beneficial thing for the company, but at the same time it will not replace humans. When there is a person needed to the company to understand employee sentiments from the hiring perspective or from the exit interview that happens. You kind of connect with that person in a better way just to understand what are the hitting challenges they are having in the company. I don't think these bots can replace that. It's the connect that takes you on a longer way. The network that you have in the industry takes you on a longer way. Nothing can replace that. So I would say, of course, AI is futuristic. It will have a positive and negative impact both, if used, carefully. But yes, there is nothing which can be replaced by humans.
So how do you handle ethical concerns like employee privacy and data protection in people analytics?
We do. So specifically from the employee and ethical and data privacy perspective, we do have a team at Jaguar Land Rover that takes care of the data protection and data governance thing altogether. So every, for the ENPS score, for example, if we kind of have a certain data point that takes into consideration employee sentiments, they are asked to fill the survey. There is a disclaimer on each of the form that says if you're kind of providing your details relevant to any of the businesses, any of the sentiments, that will be intact within Jaguar Land Rover privacy team. All the details will be anonymous at certain level. We won't be sharing any of the privacy concerns, sensitive information with the businesses. It just be with us. We do have a very particular team that takes care of all the data governance and the privacy and ethical concerns. So we do have these teams that work with different onboarding teams as well in the talent acquisition. That takes care of the entire system behind it. And these teams work all together on their day-to-day basis just to understand the PBDD, which is, again, one of the activity which happens for the data ethical services. So when any of the documentation is published, we do take place PBDD certification, and all of the governances happens at the back end, and the disclaimers and the information is being shared with the employee on a pre-advanced basis. So that's where we kind of our team just plays an important role with the data governance and the data ethical approach. And none of the information, to be very honest, within Jaguar Land Rover are shared with any of the customers, and even the customer information is just being intact with the Jaguar Land Rover. We do have a very restricted team that works on the back end 24/7.
What skills or tools are becoming must-haves for professionals in people analytics today?
If you are interested in any of the field, be it people analytics or talent acquisition, payroll, there are some of the tools that is specifically related to data. For example, Tableau, Power BI, Vizier. These are the data visualization tool that kinds of aggregate all of the backend information and provide you with certain dashboard, and the KPIs are some of the relevant aspects that the businesses are kind of looking at in an individual these days. These are kind of mandatory skills if you are, be it any other field. If you have the attention to detail, understanding data perspective, if you have those lenses. So these are some of the data visualization tools that you need to learn, and this should be a foremost thing. The another thing I would say, SQL, Python, so structured query language is how you get your data extracted from the BigQuery. For some systems, we don't have dashboards at all available. For some of the companies, they don't work at so much of data set. They do have the BigQuery in place where you can get and extract most of the data set for the businesses. That's where you need to have the lenses to the BigQuery as well. So SQL, Python, R++, if you are interested in data. Otherwise, there are these tools which happens for the talent intelligence teams. For example, have you heard of Talent Neuron? So this is a talent intelligence tool which is out there in the market, which kind of provides, it's just like LinkedIn Premium, like the LinkedIn Insight tools, where we have all the candidates information. So Talent Neuron kind of provides all the compensation benchmarking, talent supply and demand, understanding the gender diversity for each of the roles, what are the critical roles that the industry is hiring these days, looking at different kind of skills and skill segment and the qualities specifically to different of the roles. So some of the talent intelligence tools out there in the market that actually helps you at a great sense where you kind of enter to most of the details and understand the nitty-gritties of the data behind it. So that's that. Horsefly is one of them, if you're kind of interested. And I would say from the HRS perspective, it would be Workday, HCM, Oracle, Avature. So these are some of the prominent tools in the industry that I have worked with so far based on my experiences. But yeah, good to have it.
What's your most memorable classroom or classroom experience from soil that still stays with you today?
That's a very good question. And whenever I kind of remember my soil days, so this is one of the moments that stuck with me all the time, and I just be in that situation sometimes for a while in my dreams as well. So it was the happiness class. So in our case, this happiness class was taken by Anil sir himself. So it was, I think, 1 day a week sort of class that happens on a weekly basis. And whenever we kind of attend this class, Anil sir comes and he plays the random Bollywood songs, the old hits, just to kind of bring that energy into the room with all of the sentiments. Because on a weekly basis, we had so many assignments, we had so many projects, so many lectures to attend, and this class is actually a stress booster for all of the students. And they kind of look forward to attend the happiness class and all together for another time. So most of the things were taught by him in these classes specifically. He kind of shared his experiences of how he has worked with different industry leaders. What are the critical priorities that an individual should be looking at, not just from the monetary or the financial perspective or from the business perspective. It's just, understanding the employees, understanding the human at first, because that's where it becomes very crucial if you are learning something into HR. It's like HR is the foundation where you need to have an understanding from the sentiments and from the emotional perspective. You need to have a connect with the humans. So he shared all of his experiences, and I really loved that class. It literally, made me who I am today in terms of an individual, in terms of a human. So yes, all of the foundation that he has taught me literally has stuck with me so far.
As you know, there are 5 pillars of soil, and soil really emphasizes on values like mindfulness, compassion, ethics, awareness. So, how have these shown up in your professional or personal life?
I would say these 5 pillars have been there with me so far in my roles, and I have kind of abide by it in certain times. I would not say that 100% I was there abiding it all, but yes, sometimes it actually happens when you are in a certain project or something challenges you. You knows that your foundation is strong and you are not going something, you are not doing something against your values. Because in a private environment, there are people that kind of takes advantage of you in a political sense as well. If I would say in an organization politics that happens, but that's where you have the key faith in yourself and the work you have done so far with the different teams, different stakeholders, and that's what makes you as a person, I would say. Be it mindfulness, be it being ethical to your work, be it creating an impact from the work and from the people that you have worked with, and you are bounded by certain boundaries that you should not consider going out of it, be it any matter. So I would say yes, in a nutshell, it has made me the person who I am today, especially understanding the people, the individuals, from their sentiments, from their emotions, having a connect with them, not judging the person at once, even if you are having a conversation, because it takes so much of effort for anybody to share his or her experiences, and you are not sure, you are not actually aware of the fact or the baggage that they are carrying. So that's something has stuck by me as well.
Looking back, what aspect of soil's pedagogy do you think best prepared you for a global career and whatever journey you have had after soil?
I think different. It depends, different from different segments to segments. But from the foundational perspective, I think soil has literally built my entire foundation, and not just in terms of the technical expertise, the exposure that I have gained from different faculties, but actually the kind of real well-being in a way that how you should conduct yourself with different teams, different individuals. That's something. as an individual have built me altogether. And in terms of pedagogy, there were different sort of assignments, different sort of faculties, compensation projects. Of course, that will happen and that will be there so far in your career. When you are kind of learning something, you need to have different sort of understanding from the subject matter experts as well. So I think from the pedagogy aspects, there are sort of different things that happens on a that stuck by me. But yet again, there were some crucial things in terms of exposure that was into real life and the real life sentiments from the people.
For students who are aspiring, for careers in HR and analytics, what competencies should they start building right away?
Who is kind of starting their career into data analytics or data perspective, I would say they should look at their interest first. If they are kind of start working with something, on a bit small projects into data sets, start understanding how numbers play an important role into the businesses. Understand the businesses, first of all, understanding the business's P&L, the banking statements, the balance sheet. That would actually give you a sense of how business run in terms of different asset liabilities. What are the kind of different stakeholders do you have? What are the kind of capital workflow happens? So I would say start understanding the business critical financials first. If that kind of interest you, you should be able to understand what are the kind of different metrics that goes behind into the balance sheet or the P&L of any businesses. So there are so many firms, for example, if you are interested in any of the data aspect, there are so many firms, Netflix, Pandora, they are on the SEC filings on Google worldwide. So these are the public companies. You can view their financials first, understand that data. And having attention to all of these key numbers, I think, is relevant when you kind of pull it all together from a different lenses. And if you are specifically focusing on HR, I would say start understanding the compensation numbers, start understanding the talent acquisition numbers, be it what is the hiring numbers look like for a company, what are the attrition percentages that have been trended so far for a company, how attrition is calculated, what are the gender perspective looks like, what is ENPS scores, how do the companies calculate these sentiments, what are the averages look like. So start building building up on those ladder, I believe would really help in terms of meaningful way. When you understand these minute details, you'll be able to help yourself and be there in a better position to answer the facts that have been raised by the company leaders, because you know the data behind it.
Soil actually emphasizes a lot on experiential learning over traditional methods. Do you think that gave you an edge in your career?
I would say yes, of course, because in some or the other way, experiential learning is always better from the bookish knowledge that we have. Of course, the subject matter experts and the book knowledge and the foundation is essential in certain scenarios, but having learning from different peers, understanding the key business practices from them, and working with different stakeholders and making it all practical to our world makes it much better in terms of understanding. Is this, as an individual I'm talking about, this work for me? And experiential learning, I would say that really had an impact in all of the different domains that I have worked with, be it talent acquisition, management, talent acquisition. So yeah, I think it really creates an impact when learned and gained an insight from different leaders in the industry that have such exposure.
One piece of advice to the incoming students who are planning to pursue PGPM and PGPM HR?
I would say, based on my experiences so far, so I have worked with the industry for more than 8 years now. I have seen it all in a nutshell. But if one piece of advice I would be giving to the people, to the new students out there who are kind of pursuing their careers, I would say that work on your key skills. Try to understand what makes you happy. Don't go and don't rush into things where you think, this is kind of booming, everybody will be benefited. Don't go in that way. Just work on the fact what makes you happy, what kind of individuals that you work with makes you happy, and that can create an impact in your life. Also, I would say, if any of the thing is important in your career, I totally respect it, but at the same time, also takes care of your family, because family comes literally important. I have seen in my career where you have given, like you have given 100% of yourself. You have dedicatedly attending all of the meetings. You have been in, there for the people that you need, that needed you in the business prospect. But there are times when your family needs you, you are not there for them. So I would say, in my advice, gives priority to your family first, works come second. Works will always happen. If you are passionate about it, it will flow in your career. It will have an impact. You kind of connect with certain individuals in a certain way, and that will talk about you. But yes, family time is family time, and don't deprioritize your family. Always have prospect and understanding from their emotions as well. So that's what I had in my learning, because I have seen people quitting their careers, and people being laid off by the companies, even when they have achieved so much in their lives at the cost of, they have granted so much of time. They have not taken some time for the families. They have not taken into consideration their time. They have not been there for them for certain moments when their family needed them. So I would say, yes, balance. The art is always balancing. Don't rush into things until you are 100% sure, and those things create an impact in your life.
What are the skills apart from the technical skills that actually made you achieve and the role that you have taken up today? How did that happen? What is it that made you achieve all this?
Firstly, I think that I haven't achieved so much in my life yet. It's still a learning phase for me, and I never say that I have achieved a certain position. I have not. I have always been so grounded. But some of the key things that I have learned in my career so far, Bharti, and I think for every other student, it is very important just to know few things from my experiences. Number one is, never say no to any opportunity. So even if you're getting an email from your LinkedIn from any of the recruiter that you are not interested to work with, for any of the location, for any of the role that is not relevant to your profile, or offered you less compensation, never say no to it. Even for the sake of getting an experience of what is happening in the market for the interview prospect, just say yes to any of the opportunity. Be in that position, go to attend those interviews, meet the people around you that are taking these interviews, or just be there in the moment. So I have never said no in my entire life to any of the opportunity that has struck my door. So that is one of the key learning. The another one is that what made me today at my position is, the second is the confidence. So I understand, and you should also understand, that in this world, you cannot get 100% of the knowledge to each of the every field. That is ever not possible, because everything is keep on updating. You have to upskill yourself. You have to learn along the way. But what makes you different from the people who have applied for this role, like one role, and you stood apart, you kind of been selected? So is the confidence that you could achieve, you could learn, you can be in that shoes, you can help the people around you to build whatever they want. You could be that supporting system. Of course, there is no matter that you have to learn it in 100% in a right way. You will do mistakes, that is fine, but never say no to it. Keep on striking it, and I tell you that if you're determined, if you have clear intentions, you will get it. So there is one superpower that is guiding everybody's future, and the doors will open for you in a certain way, I would say. For all the students who are listening to this interview, I think one of the conscious factor that always builds within, that will I be getting placement, will I be landing in a good position because I have studied so much, my parents have spaced all of these financials all together, and some actually take loans while kind of studying. They have their financial priorities to handle. Just believe in yourself, because everybody has their own destiny. You will land up in a good position, but make sure that you are learning along the way. You are learning with the people, you are picking up the right things from the people around you. You are not kind of criticizing anyone, not taking any of the position with the wrong intention, because that are the some foundational things that goes along the way. And if you are doing it all positively, I think God will make sure that all the things will happen for you positively at the right time, at the right place.